Hello and welcome back to another reading video. In today's video, we are going to be reading classics. I actually don't know what defines a classic. Are Anne of Green Gables and The Hobbit classics? Because those are the two that I definitely want to read this video because they're on my TBR. They're on my little fall TBR that I made. Are they classics? Vote down below because maybe this video isn't about reading classics after all. And reading Anne of Green Gables, I also got the audiobook out from the library and I'm really enjoying listening to it. I think that Lucy Maud Montgomery has such a whimsical writing style and her word choice is very like lyrical, if that makes sense. And it sounds very pretty to listen to. What exactly makes a book a classic? I don't know. That's why I turned to Google. So apparently a classic meets 4 standards in quality, appeal, longevity, and influence. Basically, it's a book that passes the test of time. People are still reading it today. People are still recommending it. It has a lot of cultural influence and a lot of universal themes like love and life and loss and adversity. I actually have a cute little collection of vintage classics that I think are so pretty, and I've never actually read any of these. Like, these are some of my little pretty babies that sit on my bookshelf. I've thrifted all of these and I just love them. So this one has been super faded from the sun. I have this Anna Karenina copy. It used to be red and now it's that. I also have this beautiful copy. Like, look at that. And it is the favorite works of Mark Twain. It even has like a little bit of a sprayed edge there. My brother got me this one for Christmas. Around the World in 30 Days by Jules Verne. This one's never actually been opened. Like, you can see, like, this spine has never been cracked. These are the International Collectors Library versions of these books. I have like the Anna Karenina one, and then also I have these two. I wish that I got them all. I said that to Allie at the time. Like, I grabbed a couple. What is this, 4? I think I may have a 5th on my bookshelf. I got these copies and there was more, and I said I should just get them all. They're so pretty. And Allie said, do you really need those? And I said no. This is a copy of Pride and Prejudice, which I'm actually listening to right now, also on audiobook. I forgot that I had this copy. I mean, I could actually finally just read it too. And inside it even has this insert. This one looks the same, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. And then this one, again, so pretty. This is a beautiful copy of The Scarlet Letter. Look inside. That's so pretty. And someone named Phyllis Marilyn Johnson, who lived at 954 10th Street in Boulder, Colorado, had this book at some point. And they have actually annotated it, which is pretty cool, honestly. Oh my gosh, and look at their notes in the back. I've never noticed that before. That's extra cool. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but they're really popular finds at thrift stores. These versions of like Wuthering Heights. I have Emma and I have The Great Gatsby. I don't know if we're going to get to any of these. I just wanted to show some of the pretty little books that I have on my bookshelf. These ones are obviously like much newer printings, but I just like to have classics in case I ever get in a mood like this, that I want to read some classics, you know? We're going to be reading 2 books in today's video, and they're actually both children's classics I've since learned since picking them. So I guess we're reading children's classics today. We're going to read Anne of Green Gables. It's about an orphan girl on Prince Edward Island. It's where I'm from. It's a coming of age story. Very popular on PEI. Also, one of the only things I know about it is that my sister-in-law loves it and my niece was Anne last year for Halloween. The other book is The Hobbit. I originally thought that this might be a little too gruesome and gory for me because I found the movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, super gruesome and gory, and I didn't like them for that reason. Turns out it's a children's book, so we will not have this issue, I don't think. It's a fantasy book. It's about a hobbit with a bunch of dwarves, 13 dwarves maybe. They're heading to a mountain to battle a dragon to try and get their fortune back. So it's like an adventurous fantasy and a like early 1900s coming of age piece. So let's get reading. Let's ignore the mess of toys behind me, shall we? We still don't have a playroom. That's a whole thing. I'm currently reading Anne of Green Gables and I am that far into it. So far, I'm loving it. I know it's like a children's classic, kind of technically. I don't know what age Anne of Green Gables was written for, but oh my gosh, it is cute, it is fun, and is so spunky. Some of the word choice from the time period is very interesting. Like how often they refer to Anne as a queer girl. She's not gay, she's not queer, but she's queer as in funny, queer as in unique, queer as in weird. So that's pretty funny. Also, did they use the word ejaculate? What else? There was another word that they used that was weird. Was it ejaculate? There's been a few weird words that I'm like, that word choice would not be what was used today. Listening to Anne of Green Gables, and I just heard it, so I need to say, I know I said that there's some terms that we would use differently in modern day English. This was just that they engaged in intercourse with, and I think it was just like talking. I got the time right now to finish listening to Anne of Green Gables on Libby on my little audio book app. This is a book that I have both the physical copy for and the audiobook, and I don't often read books in different mediums at the same time, but because I find classic books a little bit dry, a little bit hard for me to focus on, I think, just because like the sentence structure is different than how we speak, the word choice is different than how we speak today, and it honestly just takes me a bit to get into. So when I'm only reading small bits at a time, because I'm a mom, because I'm busy, because I work, because all of those things, if you don't have the time to just sit down and dive into it, I feel like every time I sit down to read, I kind of have this brain mush where I'm like, what is going on? Where am I? What period am I in? So I've been liking listening to it a lot better. So let's finish. I'm at 93%, so I think that I have the time right now to get it done. I'm done, Anne of Green Gables, and I enjoyed this book exponentially more than I ever thought that I would. This might not be a book that you would say is highly hyped if you're not from Prince Edward Island. Rosie, it's okay. But being an islander, this book is everywhere. Anne is everywhere. It is referenced everywhere in the naming of businesses, restaurants, like it's Anne Town. And I waited 30 years to read this because I didn't get the hype. It didn't sound interesting to me, but now that I read it, I get it. Anne is so spunky and so fiery, and I love her imagination. This is very much like a growing up, coming of age story. It starts when Anne's pretty young and follows her until she like reaches adulthood, kind of in that time period. I think she's only 16, but it's when she's done school and going to university and like starting her career. Her imagination though is just out of this world, and the imagery that Lucy Maud Montgomery is able to draw with her words is just so magical. Like, this lady knew how to write. And I will say, it really, really romanticizes Prince Edward Island. It makes it sound like the most perfect, picturesque place on the planet. So I get why so many tourists come to PEI after reading this series, because they want to experience this Prince Edward Island. My only kind of qualm with the story was how it was written. I wish that we were being shown more and told less. Like, it felt like a lot of the stories and things that we were being told were after the fact, being like, oh well, this happened earlier, instead of it being real time, you're there, you're experiencing those emotions kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Definitely an underdog story. I mean, she's an orphan. People that are adopting her don't want her. It's really amazing to see her relationships grow throughout the story, and everyone really in the story change and grow with Anne. This is actually a 7 or 8 book series, so I think at some point I will read more of them. I thrifted them all, so I'm excited to one day dive into those, maybe my next trip to PEI. I really liked this. I'm gonna give it 4 stars, and I'm happy that I finally read this. Also, so far using the word queer a lot. I'm listening to The Hobbit as an audiobook right now. I'm about halfway done, I think. I don't know what kind of fantasy this is. I will Google it and write it on the screen here. This is the same type of fantasy, I would say, as Fairy Tale by Stephen King, which I didn't like. And it's not that I don't like this book, it's just boring. I can appreciate The Hobbit for like its very whimsical writing. I like the setting. I think the characters are interesting. I think the world building is so intense and so well done. It's just, I don't think I like the kind of story that is just following an adventure. I would say though, I wanted to read this because it felt very cozy and like a cozy fantasy that was perfect for fall, and I will say it is that. So let's see what else happens in the rest of this. Like I said, I'm about halfway done. I'm just about to start chapter 11. Also, all of you that are Americans and have access to just like sparkling water that's caffeinated, I'm so jealous. My mom just got back from the States and brought me so many cases because I'm obsessed with it. It's such like a perfect afternoon pick-me-up. Progress. I'm getting there. I thrifted this book, this version of The Hobbit. Okay, so I'm listening to this YouTube account's audiobook, like they narrated it themselves, of The Hobbit on YouTube, and their voice for Smaug, the dragon, is so good. They do so many good accents and stuff. It's all one person. It's great. I'm gonna take a reading bath. I actually have the cutest bath bomb that I think is like perfect for this. This bath bomb from Lush is so cute. It's like a little fairy house. And it was full of little sparkling powder that I used in another bath, and then I'm gonna use the rest of it today. It's so cute. I have finished reading The Hobbit. The Hobbit is actually one of the most popular books of all time, really. I think that I read that they've sold over 100 million copies, and I loved the world. It was so whimsical, and I actually enjoyed the story in the first like 3/4, the adventure of getting there, better than the ending and the battle and the fight at the end. I can definitely see for young readers that this has like so many great lessons to be learned about bravery and about morality. And there's so much growth that happens in Bilbo. He goes from this scared little hobbit to this hero in the end, and I can really see that growth and that story and not underestimating someone for who or what they are can be really helpful for young readers. And I think that there was a lot of great themes in this. I really liked the world, and I would love to live in a cozy little hobbit hole. So that was good. It was a good book. I think this is going to be a book that I'm really gonna look forward to the kids reading, my kids, when they are like preteens, early teens, and hearing their thoughts on it. So I'm gonna keep this on the bookshelf till then. There are only 2 now, so we have a lot of waiting to go. Also, maybe it's just a really common theme in children's literature and I haven't thought of it before, but it's interesting that I picked up 2 like extreme underdog stories to read in this video. So this has me pondering what books today, like what books written in the last couple of years are going to be considered literary classics in the future. Do we think like fairy smut is going to be classic literature at any point? Do we think A Court of Thorns and Roses? I mean, it's a pretty massive series. Do we think that is going to become a classic? I could imagine Kristen Hanna, her books becoming classics. I could imagine Taylor Jenkins Reid. I could imagine Kate Quinn. Those are 3 that I could see. I could see those becoming classics. I could see Babel becoming a classic because of the themes. Those are all books I've read or authors I've read recently that I could imagine becoming classics. Do we think Colleen Hoover is going to be like the next Jane Austen? Do we think they'll be studying her in school? I'm just so curious because it's hard to imagine now what literature is going to be like in 50 years. Like, what is going to withstand the test of time? Let me know down below some predictions you have for classics, like future classics. What is going to become a classic, you think? And with those thoughts, that's where we're going to end today's video. I am so glad that I read these. I really enjoyed both of them. And now I can say that I've read them. I'm someone that has like major FOMO when it comes to books. So reading classics and just being able to, in conversation with people when they reference a book, be able to draw some conclusive thoughts on it is kind of nice to be able to contribute in that way. Not that I talk to many people that reference books and literature in day-to-day conversation. I want more book friends. So we're going to end this here. Thanks for watching, my book buddies. I'll be back really soon with another reading video. And I will say these books were both on my fall TBR, and these were two that I wasn't sure if they would make it off. I'm glad that they did, and I'm making a pretty good dent in my very ambitious fall TBR. There's a whole video about what's on it. So thanks for watching. See you soon.